First question, Chris Cartman.
Chris Cartman, son of a source. Adam, congratulations. Thoughts on the group that you're inheriting? I know obviously you know those guys quite well, have worked with them already. Can you just kind of go over what you think about the group right now?
Yeah, it's a talented group. I think you got depth at the group now. We're returning Curtis Hodges, who obviously, has had a really good season for us last year, and a guy who physically has all the talent in the world and can be a really successful player. I think has a shot to play in the National Football League if he can put it all together. And returning a guy like John Stivers, who provides some depth for us. Brought in Jalen Conyers, who we're super excited about. Obviously announced his signing today. Transfer from Oklahoma, who's got a ton of talent. Who we're excited about being able to land him. Then you got some young guys like Jake Ray, Ryan Morgan, Case Hatch at the fullback position. So we have some depth, and I'm excited to work with those guys this spring and kind of see who emerges as the top two tight ends in the group.
Michelle.
Hey, Adam. Michelle Gardner, Arizona Republic. We talked before a little bit about kind of having the young dynamic on this staff with yourself and Prentice and Hawkins, and kind of tell me about what you think you bring in obviously being elevated to a full-time position. It's got to be just a great opportunity for you.
It's a fun staff to be on, for sure. It's fun to be with Hawk and Prentice every day, and to be with all those guys. I mean, I throw AP in with the young guys as well. I try to throw him in there. And even Coach Hill being 40 years old, there's guys all over the staff who are fun to be around. We have our support staff, guys that are young and hungry that recruit really hard. And it's definitely a competitive business. And Hawk and Prentice and I and AP, we're competing all the time in the recruiting world and who can land the biggest recruit and all that kind of stuff. But it's fun. Those guys are great. Not just fun people to be around, but I learned a lot from those guys, even the young guys. I mean, I learned a ton from Chris Hawkins last year about recruiting, about relationships, about how to get to know recruits and new players. And he's only a couple weeks older than me, so I kind of looked up to him last year, and he kind of guided me through this process. So it's a fun staff to be on. I'm definitely blessed to be on a coaching staff like this.
Hode.
Hode Rubino, Devil's Digest. How you doing, Adam?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Spring practice is about to start a month from now. At the end of those 15 sessions, what do you want to see from the tight ends group that would classify this spring practice as being a productive one for your position group?
Yeah, hopefully we just see them develop as being true tight ends that can do anything all over the field. One of the things that I hang up in our tight end room is the word versatile. And the definition of versatile, being composed of many different parts. And I think at tight end you're judged on your receiving ability, your blocking ability. You got to be smart. You got to be able to pass protect. You got to do a lot of different things. And I think you bring a guy like Jalen Conyers, who's really comfortable catching the ball and running routes, not really comfortable playing the line of scrimmage and blocking and doing all those kinds of things. So my goal would be for all of them, Curtis, Jalen, even the young guys, Jake Ray, Ryan Morgan. John Stivers, who's played a lot of football but still needs to grow to develop as true every down tight ends, guys that you don't have to take off the field when you're going to run the ball, guys you don't have to take off the field when you're going to pass the ball, guys that can be real versatile tight ends. I think that's kind of going to be my goal for the spring, and hopefully we see some development.
Christian.
Yeah, hi, Coach. Christian Babb, Cronkite News. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Christian.
I was wondering, you mentioned Coach Hill, and he obviously brought in a lot more sort of sets that involved the tight end than what was run previously on the offense. How do you sort of hope to work with him to expand the role of the tight end in this offense?
He's been great, and I think Coach Hill's offense is personnel oriented. So where the best players are the personnel groups we're going to use. And if that ends up being 3 tight ends that are really good, we're going to play 3 tight ends. That ends up being 4 wide receivers, and we'll probably play 4 wide receivers, no tight ends. And I think, our goal as a position group is to be in a spot where we can use 12 personnel a lot of the time and be able to do a lot of things out of it. We did it this past season. We were in 12 personnel, I think over 50% of the time, which is I don't know the numbers exactly, but probably is pretty high up there in the country as far as most 12 personnel reps. So. It's a fun offense to be in for a tight end. It's exciting because there's opportunities. There's opportunities all over the place to catch the ball, to make plays, to make big plays in the run game and the blocking game and pass protection. and then to, be impact players when the game's on the line and hoping that the ball gets thrown to us. So it's a fun offense. Coach Hill is great. I mean, he's brilliant. He's one of the smartest guys in this building. It's cool to be with him every single day and just learn football from him, especially as a young coach. I'm indebted to him for the opportunity he's given me here and the job he's given me. But he's a great guy to be around. His offense is a fun one to coach.
Hode.
Adam, I know the 2020 season frustrating for 10,000 different reasons, but it looks like when it comes to the recruiting trail that you were able to show enough to recruits out there, whether it's 21 class or 22 class, that this program really has great potential. Is that really maybe less of a challenge than people think it is, that even in close losses and whatnot, you're still able to show the prospects out there how much potential this program does hold and really make it more attractive than people may think it is?
Yeah, I think we have a great product to sell, from a coaching staff standpoint with the NFL model and Coach Herm, and, a great location, obviously. But really, I think, when it comes down to it, a great fit for a lot of these guys football wise. The opportunity that we play young guys here, we play freshmen. Our players love being here. There's programs around the country. I was telling a recruit earlier today, there's programs around the country where you walk into that program and you're walking on eggshells when you're around there. You got to wear your hair a certain way. You got to dress a certain way. Our players here can be themselves. They love being here. Our players are in our offices. When I came right in here, Curtis Hodges was in my office hanging out, for a while, and Mark Brand had to come grab me and bring me in here. So it's our players are around all the time, and I think that's the culture that recruits want. When we're able to get them on campus, hopefully in the future. That's what we're able to sell. And that's what made it difficult over this past year with the 21 class, not being able to show that side of it, not having recruits around our players. But I think we're able to have some success with our 21 class. We're super excited about it. Obviously a smaller class than normal. Signed 17 guys, but I think it's going to end up being, when we look back on this class in 4 years, we're going to say this is one of the best classes Arizona State's had. And even though it was smaller, you add in the transfers we got, which were big pickups, big time recruits out of high school. Jalen Connors was the top 75 player out of high school. Tristan Miller was a top 200 player. Travis Moore is a big time get for the defense. I mean, you add in those transfers, and this 2021 class is pretty special.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael Kirsten, believing the Pac-12 podcast. Coach, touching on obviously Coach Hill's offense that you're saying, working with them, and obviously there's formations and shifts, but how big is it to have that production or that presence of the tight ends and creating even bigger mismatches, seemingly what he wants to do with the offense?
It's huge. It's huge. I mean, when you're able to have a tight end or two tight ends that can be a mismatch in the pass game, and what really creates opportunities at the tight end position is when you can have two tight ends in there who aren't just two receiving tight ends, but two tight ends that are real tight ends and that they can make plays in the passing game. Because when it comes to personnel, defense is looking at who's on the field before they make their calls. So when we walk on the field with two tight ends that are great athletes, a guy like Curtis Hodges who can play in line, who can make plays in the passing game, that defense doesn't know, are we going to run the ball? Are we going to throw the ball? What's our tendency there? So when you have two really good tight ends, or even three, or you can do a lot of cool things in the passing game and in the run game to keep a defense off balance. And that's what we're trying to do as an offense, is keep the defense guessing, keep them off balance. So it's huge, and these guys have an opportunity. I tell tight end recruits all the time, they have an opportunity here. This is an offense that you want to play in. When I was coming out of high school and looking at the offense I wanted to play in, this is the kind of offense I was looking for. And now it's just up to someone, to go in and take the reins and be the guy that can catch 30, 40 balls in the season.
Christian.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned Jalen Conyers, obviously a huge addition to your room. What will you sort of be looking for moving forward in recruiting when you're trying to go out and get tight ends that fit what you're looking for in your room?
We're looking for length, first of all, so tight ends that are, 6'4.5" plus, hopefully 6'5", guys who probably basketball players in high school, super athletic. I feel pretty confident in our ability to teach a guy how to play in the line of scrimmage and teach a guy how to block. Really that comes down to needing to have a mindset. And then after that, once you have the mindset to do it, we can teach the technicality and the technique that goes into playing in line. That's again an example is Jalen. We took a chance on Jalen, knowing he probably hasn't really played real tight end, but then we can teach him how to play in line. So normally you're looking at those kind of guys, big, long athletes that can run, that are natural ball catchers, that have good body control. And that's really what I'm looking for. The first thing we look at on film is receiving ability. Can a guy be an athlete that can stretch the field? And then is he tough? Is he going to be willing to come in here and stick his nose in there and learn how to block? Because I think you can teach him that part.
Any other questions for Coach? All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Gentlemen.